William Person was a member of the US bobsled team, and it's not surprising for anybody who's watched bobsled that he got banged around a lot, including his head, which resulted in a chronic traumatic brain injury. William, thanks for coming on the show and talking about CTE. As I said in my intro, I think people are learning more and more and more about it as more athletes and really well-known athletes are coming forward, and champions like yourself are coming forward and talking about it. And I don't think it's easy because there are some memory, behavioral issues, and all sorts of things get wrapped up in CTE. So let's start, I guess, with your time on the US bobsled team.
Okay, sounds good. Sounds good. Where do we start at?
Yeah, just start, how did you get involved in the bobsled team?
Well, bobsledding for me was kind of like the finale of my sports career. Like I was a track and field athlete, sprinter. Um, at points in times of my life, I did weird jobs. I did some modeling. I did some. If you see the movies Jerry Maguire, I'm one of the guys that you see on the football field run up and down the field. They hired me just to run fast and look pretty doing it, so I did that for a while.
That's all right.
Yeah. So I was doing anything that came with running fast, and I was at the end of my sports career. I was running, opened the first ever independent living transitional housing program in Utah at the time. So it was such a new program, they opened me as a pilot program. So I was kind of doing different things at the time when bobsledding showed up. But yeah, I went and tried out for it. I set a new record on the tryout, and the rest was history. 9 years later, I was still racing.
And you raced, I believe, two-man and four-man.
Yeah, I'm the four-man U.S. national champion, and two-man. But my best finish was silver medalist in two-man for nationals. Yeah.
So when you watch bobsled, and I think a lot of people do watch it, especially during the Olympics, because it's really, really exciting. And you honestly can't imagine how anybody would even ever think about getting on a little sled, and going down
Yeah.
those icy tracks. But you think about people flying off and those kinds of accidents, but it's the constant boom, 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 boom on your head that actually caused the CTE for you.
Well, I believe it's a combination. Because I also believe it's the G forces. Because
Right.
there's some athletes I know they never crashed and they have the same symptoms as the rest of us. So it has to be the G forces and then just the vibrations on the track. Is always a vibration going through your head like a shaken baby syndrome type thing. So it's I don't believe it's just one thing causing this thing.
So how long did you bobsled?
About 9 years.
So that's a lot of boom, 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 boom on your
Yeah,
head.
that's why I tell people I'm the perfect candidate because what I know about the science of the sport now, like every time I went down the track, it's a very good chance I was getting a micro concussion. If I had a big crash, it was a big concussion. If we hit the walls too hard, it could be a big concussion. And so, like, no one in the world could probably have as many concussions as I do. And so, for me to wake up and after 10 years of cloudiness from the treatment I found, like, I'm the guinea pig. I tell everybody I'm your guinea pig. It should hopefully the therapy that they're doing is working for everybody.
Yeah, so that's the hyperbaric chamber
Yeah,
that
yeah.
that we're talking about. And of course, people get concussions, and not as many as you, and probably not as severe. I mean, on average, but everybody's had a concussion to some degree. And I ride horses, and I've fallen off, and I've banged my head and been, really woozy, and not thought anything about it. And I think that that's
Absolutely.
what we it's coming into people, and people are learning more about CTE because of professional athletes like yourself coming forward and talking about it. But it's something that I think we all need to worry about, and I think that's part of what you are working on with the hyperbaric chamber. But before we get there, let's talk a little bit about the personality changes and the kinds of things that happened with you, because you can't just do a brain scan and say, there's CTE.
Yeah,
So you
actually,
had to diagnose it through things that you were doing in your life.
before we go there, maybe I want to comment on something you just mentioned. You're right. Like when I started this journey, I thought it was really about the athletes. I had no idea. I began to meet other people. You got the athletes, we have our veterans. Matter of fact, if you look at the veterans, we're doing, I think it's 6,400 suicides per year. But what they don't fail to tell you is like most people who have CTE, they start to self-medicate a little bit. Usually that's usually alcohol. And so the military doesn't count the uh, the deaths. Even if you overdose, even if you leave a suicide note, they don't count it as suicide. So there's an additional 5,000 of those veterans every year that die as well. So that's about 11,000 um, veterans every year that's, dying behind this thing. Yeah. And then some of them are getting diagnosed with PTSD. And then when they do their brain autopsy later, they find out they actually had CTE. So that PTSD might be just a wrong diagnosis for most veterans coming back. For the veterans who's been around the explosions, who's been around the fighter pilots, those kind of people, the guys on those boat runners, they skip across the waves. And then there's a pockets of housewives, the ones who've been abused. They're now dying at their death. They're being positively identified as having CTE, or the housewife who fell out and hit her head while playing with her children. So it's touching a lot of people's lives right now, and we're just now no one's really talking about it. No one's. Matter of fact, in the last little stat I'll throw at you, see some of the stuff I'm still learning from the last time we spoke. Um, if you look at the last, I think they say 31% of mass shootings are our veterans coming back turning the gun on civilians now, or other veterans. So there's a lot of things out here that we need to, hopefully we can address and treat these guys. And
Yeah. Well, I mean,
yeah,
with the veterans, it totally makes sense that an explosion would cause that kind of reverberation in the brain. And I think there's probably, which is a horrible thought, people who are coming back with both PTSD and
and
CTE, which requires a little bit of a different treatment. But sometimes the symptoms can be the same. And I know that some of the symptoms are can be violence, can be you get total confusion, you don't know where you are. You talked about some of those
yeah,
things.
yeah, absolutely. They have a different life experience. Theirs was about violence and all this other stuff. So their experience is their brain is gonna react probably different than mine.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
what did you see in your behavior that made you start to wonder what was going on?
The thing about this, that's the scary part. There was nothing in my behavior that made me think something was wrong with me this way. I thought I was coming down with diabetes because I couldn't get out of the bed. I was cloudy. I was getting lost in my own community. I was in dementia pretty much. So I was definitely in dementia. So but I thought it was diabetes. I couldn't connect the dots with what was really going on. And that's the scary part about this thing because most people don't. If you look at these athletes and these veterans, they aren't walking around saying, "Hey, I'm going to go kill some people. I'm going to go kill myself." No, they're not doing that. Like those are American heroes. Like they didn't come back just to turn a gun on us. Something's going on in that brain. And for me, it was a voice that kept telling me as well, just end this thing now. Like your teammates are dying already. They're killing themselves. Why are you still here dealing with this? You don't have to stick this out. So you have a lot of little different variables going on in there that just makes life horrible.
Yeah, and the personal relationships that you had
Hmm.
were severely affected as well. Again,
Yeah.
you didn't know why. You just, I'm sure there's some things that you just thought were normal. Yeah, yeah, that's just part of life. But you had
Yeah.
not personality, personal issues that were really,
Yeah.
really seriously affected.
Yeah, I would definitely agree with that because there were some very special people I met throughout my life. And like some of the ladies I were dating, like they were very beautiful people inside and out, had a great head on their shoulders. But was something with me was like I really can't put my finger on it. I was just never happy. I just could never be happy, and I didn't want my unhappiness to be affect them. So I had to move on. So that. But the truth was, it was nothing wrong with us or the relationship. It was just my thinking I was struggling with my thoughts and just the things that I was feeling.
And you mentioned dementia. I think we could go back and think about Muhammad Ali or any
Yeah.
any boxer really, but I think that he was probably the most prominent boxer who showed some seriously effects from getting hit in the head. You know, we said, oh, he's, you know, punch
Yeah.
drunk, and you say that about fighters, but he ended up with dementia and I think Parkinson's.
Parkinson's, yeah.
And I'm not saying that those weren't there, because they can test for that. However, I'm going to guess there was some CTE in the background also happening there. Based on what we're talking about, it
It
would be
has to be.
impossible to go through.
Yeah. Yeah,
So,
it has to be in there. There was no way in the world he was not suffering from CTE symptoms.
yeah,
It's impossible. You're right.
yeah. Well, let's talk about the hyperbaric chamber,
All right, all right.
because it's interesting. I mean, how did you even discover, you know, hey, let's go in a hyperbaric chamber and see if it works? How did you even end up in one? And then we can talk about what you're doing with that, because it's helped you so much.
Well, Joe Namath, he showed up, old football player from the 60s.
Yeah.
He he had some videos out. See, first of all, I didn't know what it was until my last teammate who called me speaking gibberish. Once they did his autopsy, uh, he was in stage 4. So once I knew this was CTE and it wasn't diabetes anymore, then I changed my focus of looking for answers. And so when Joe Namath said he used hyperbarics, first I didn't believe it was going to work. I didn't think it would work because I tried everything. I treated every symptom that was there. Every time something popped up, I'm addressing it. And so I went to this place and I tried it. And I was in that machine for 1 hour. It looks just like the one that's behind me right here. And when I came out, like my life changed. I had 10 years of cloudiness at that time, and it just went away. It was gone for 6 days. Um, and they let me come back a second time. And at that second time, then it was clear. I was clear for 9 days. So then I had to buy one. So,
And the idea with a hyperbaric chamber is, if I'm correct, it's negative pressure. Is that what it does? How does it work?
well, it pressurizes that chamber, and then it makes your body believe it's like mine is a 1.3 atmospheres. So it makes it believe that I'm about 7 to 9 feet underwater. And at that
Okay, so
point,
it's more pressure, not less pressure.
yes, more
Okay.
pressure. Yeah. And so, yeah, it makes your body believe it's 7 feet underwater. Your blood is like a gas. So now it will send blood and oxygen to everything in your body, and it'll get through all the blockages. And that's really what it was explained to me.
It's interesting that pressure. I mean, that just sort of made me think that G force was one of the things that is a problem, that you were
Yeah.
talking about in bobsledding, and that would definitely be in the issue with fighter pilots when you're talking about that. So it's interesting that you go into a chamber where there's pressure. The reason I said negative pressure, because it seemed like, well, you've had a lot of pressure on your head, now you would be negative pressure. So it is interesting that that's what the hyperbaric chamber does.
Oh, I got one for you. I was interviewed by some military veterans over in the UK, and they told me they're not allowed to deep sea dive over there. You have so a lot of the veterans, they have the same issues as American soldiers over here, same stuff. So what they do is he said they go to a little island, and he didn't know much about hyperbarics at all. He was just we were just talking through it. And so he says they go to the island and then they go down deep and they stay down there for a long, long, long time. He just kept really emphasizing long, long. And so I'm just I was getting goosebumps and kind of giggling on the inside because whenever I get in that chamber, it's called a dive. It's the same thing. They found another way to do it, which is the same as what we do here. This is actually simulating what they do. So yeah, and so that's just another confirmation that this this technology has been around since the 1800s. People are doing it all around the world. It looks different over there. They actually go in the ocean to do it.
Yeah, I'm not sure that we can actually just say, hey, everybody, just go deep diving and, and pretend it's like, well, or simulate a hyperbaric chamber, because it's obviously, if you don't have somebody with you or somebody who knows about deep diving, you could be getting yourself into some trouble. But that is interesting that's the correlation between the two things. So let's talk about the campaign you have going now. You want to start a center.
Yes.
for hyperbaric chambers. So you do have a GoFundMe campaign, which people
Yes.
can find on Facebook. Where do they find that on Facebook?
It's actually on, it's on, if you go to GoFundMe, it's everywhere. It's called One Man with the Chamber.
Okay.
Or you can look up my name, William Person. I'm very easy to find. Matter of fact, let me show you this. We are official now. We are a non-for-profit now.
Oh, fantastic.
Yeah. So not only can we take we were doing crowdfunding, but now we can start creating a partnership so we can actually get this thing up and moving.
So when is this happening and where?
Well, it's really about dollars and cents. As soon as because this chamber I have behind me is the only chamber we have right now, and so it's not made for sending that many people through it. It's really made for a household, and so I need to get some metal chambers built. And those metal chambers are expensive. They run between 50 to $100,000. And so as soon as we acquire probably about 50,000, we can probably purchase the first chamber. And then we want to open in St. Louis. And I chose that because it's right in the middle of America. Matter of fact, we're the gateway to the West. So you're supposed to come to St. Louis, walk through the arch, and it welcomes you to the West, supposedly. But anyway,
Yeah,
that's kind of how that goes. I don't really
well,
get it because
actually,
if you
I
go
was.
the other way, it's the gateway to the East. So which one really is it?
That's true. That's true.
Yeah.
It's a gateway to somewhere.
Yeah.
No,
But
I was thinking about it, and I was thinking, why St. Louis? And I was talking to my partner about it, and she said, well, it's the middle of the country. And I
middle.
thought, and she said, so everybody, it's almost equidistance for everybody to get there. So that was pretty interesting. Now, you are not, are you are hopefully going to expand this so you go beyond professional athletes, and it would be potentially someone like me who's, been riding horses, fallen off and hit her head one too many times, and is experiencing some symptoms that aren't explained by other medical diagnoses. And that's the thing, right? I think that if you're experiencing
Absolutely.
potentially something like we're talking about with CTE, and you can't find any diagnosable reason for it, then
Yes.
CTE is something you really should be seriously looking at.
Absolutely.
And
Yeah.
I mean, $100,000 a chamber is a lot of money for you to have to raise. But if you can
Yeah.
build that, one chamber, one chamber at a time, you could be helping an awful lot of people out there.
Well, actually, the one chamber that is a company we're talking with right now. They can build me one with hold 6 people. So if I'm open 8 hours a day, I can actually service 48 people.
Wow.
So that's a significant difference than me sending one person through this chamber right here. So
Yes, because how
yeah.
long do you have to stay in it?
Usually starting out probably be about an hour, but at home I do 90 minutes when I get in
Okay.
my chamber.
Okay. And what do you think the timeline's going to be like before you get up and running, and people can start contacting you about coming to the center and experiencing?
Well, that's the hard question right there. And actually, let me address one thing that you asked. Yeah, I do. I don't really want to. This thing started out as me saving my Olympic teammates, but once I saw the numbers, we're losing 11,000 soldiers a year. I'm going to open to the public immediately. Like it won't be. I'm not going to be just athletes. No, we're going to open to everyone. So it'll be open to the public. Is what I'm trying to do. And this is something that's so different. Like I'm getting flack left and right people who want to put money in, they're like, hey, let me put some money in and let me be an investor. I just can't do it because I don't want to pass that buck to the customer. So I'm really hoping to do it through crowdfunding, through my 501(c)(3), where I can hand out tax write-offs, things like that. And yeah, like I said, we're here to treat the public because everybody needs the help. And it's just really sad that like even for myself, I'm fighting one of the biggest cases in the world trying to help my teammates. And even I got to see some of the best doctors in the world, and none of them really going to see it on you. They're just going to just keep kind of, patting you on the shoulder. And, oh, you're 6'1", you're 220, nothing really wrong with you. But they didn't know I got lost just walking home half a mile from there. Like I'm lost in my community. I don't know where I'm at sometime. Like I knew I was in trouble. And so most people in America are going to have the same problem, and they are having the same problem. And you hear all the military families saying the same thing. Like we tried to get them some help, but there was no help to be got. Like it doesn't make sense to me. And so what I'm doing it's really it's for the public. It's not really uh it's not a business to make money for me. That's not what it's about.
Will there be a cost, or are you trying to keep it
No,
at zero?
I wanted at zero because let me give you like for example, some people like when I went and got in the chamber the first time, like the lights turned on immediately. And matter of fact, I thought the salesman was a crook at first. I thought he was trying to rip me off because he saw me putting my glasses on and off, and he was like, "What's wrong?" And I was like, "Hey, I don't think I need my glasses." And so he was like, "Oh, you're one of those." And so when he said that, I'm thinking, okay, he's about to try to sell me this chamber. Okay, that's a good gimmick. He let me use it for free. He bought me in, suckered me in there. I like it, and so it didn't do any damage. And now he's about to try to gouge me. But he was right. Some people get immediate relief, and then some people need like 2 sessions a day for 30 days. Now in Los Angeles, that's going to cost you $200 per hour. So
Mm,
that's around $12,000.
yeah.
And so what I don't want to do, people won't show up for the treatment because they can't afford it. People right now, I have a service right now. Like if you find me through my TikTok, I'll help you find a chamber. Some places will treat you for free, or at least I help you find one in their community if I can. And so I'm sending people to different places now. But a lot of people right away, they was like, I can't afford it. I'm just going to have to sit here and suffer. And that's what I was doing. Once I figured it out, I knew this chamber was working for me. Then I had to find 20,000 bucks to buy this thing. And I had just bought a home. And so I didn't have that money laying around. So I just laid around until I was starting to suffer again. And then my dad showed up and he saved my butt by just purchasing that chamber for me. But
Yeah, what a difference in your life. I mean, with the direction your life could have taken is beyond tragic possibilities. So the
yeah,
fact that you were able to find almost by happenstance, right? It's not like you had,
Joe
read a lot
Namath.
about it and thought I've got to find myself a hyperbaric chamber.
No,
Uh,
and I did the research on. I didn't think it was going to work. Like I tried everything, like every symptom that popped up, but no, it was such a blessing. And like even to this day, like I still use it for maintenance, and I make sure I still get in there every now and then.
yeah.
Usually, if I go 30 days without it, I start to get a little bit fuzzy again. But so far, so good. Like right now, I haven't been back in there because I had to be in there for over about 2 months. Like I still get in there pure just to make sure it doesn't. But there's so many people out there, they're doing this and they don't need the service anymore. They don't. It's like it's reversing their stuff, like Joe Namath. There's a lot of those guys. But
Yeah.
I'm probably
Yeah.
the
And
worst.
reversing it permanently?
Yeah,
Wow.
absolutely. I'm the worst case
Wow.
scenario because remember, I raced for 9 years. That means I went down that bobsled track between 1 to 6 times a day for 3 to 5 days a week for 4 to 5 months of the year for 9 years. And if you get a concussion every time you go down that track, the micros,
Wow.
I'm I'm the worst case scenario. If it's
Yeah.
helping me, it should. That's why I'm really praying it'll keep helping
Yeah.
everybody. And so far, so good.
And just tell me again, where can people find you and get more information?
If you go to TikTok, I'm one man with a chamber.
You can listen to all episodes of Life Unscripted, Stories of Mental Health and Addiction on your favorite podcast app or on my website at lifeunscripted.ca.